after my Fear is the Mind Killer class that I taught last night. And one of the points that I really stressed last night is that it is your responsibility to pick yourself up when you are down. It's your responsibility to get up and move on to the next phase of your life. And as I was thinking about that, after I teach a class, I go over it in my mind. What could I have improved? What could I have done differently? What could I have added to the lessons that I was teaching? So I was going over it in my mind. And one of the things I was thinking about is how hard, how hard we take breakups as women and femmes. How all encompassing they become, how we connect our romantic relationships to our worth, and how we expect validation from our romantic relationships. And what I realized is happening with most of us, and I'm including myself in this. When I say most of us, when I say we, I'm not saying that just to be nice. I'm saying I was raised just like all the rest of you guys were raised. I live in the society that we all live in the same male centered society. So when I say these are things that we're working on, I mean we, right? I do mean that. So I think that we are, or I know, let me not say I think as if I'm not aware. Hold on. Okay. I'm listening to my directions. But we are raised and groomed and socialized to see ourselves as less than complete and as less than successful and as less than fulfilled if we don't have a man in our lives. And then we have to define what it means to have a man in your life. So it's not just that we are seen as incomplete or not whole or not successful when we don't have a man in our lives, but it's that we've been taught to, I don't even want to use the term center men. I want to use the term pedestalize. We've been taught to pedestalize men and the masculine opinion, the masculine thought process, right? And the validation of the masculine. No matter what masculine it is, no matter where it comes from, we've been raised to pedestalize that. So, what happens with us is that when we don't have a man in our lives, we are, whether we're speaking it or sometimes whether we're even conscious of it, we're feeling less than. So, then when an opportunity presents itself for a man to come into our lives, we treat this like the most important thing. And emotionally, we're seeing it as the most important thing. So we're putting all of our energy there, we're putting all of our effort there, right? We are pedestalizing this relationship, this romantic relationship, above everything else in our lives, right? So we may stop working so hard at work. We may stop working so hard at school. We may ignore all of our other relationships, our friendships, our business relationships, etc. Right? So that at the point of breakup, this does not just touch on the romantic area of your life. It's not just the end of a romance. It becomes the end of this idea that you had. It becomes the end of this happily ever after vision that you were holding. It becomes the end of this fantasy of Prince Charming coming to rescue you that you were trying to live. It becomes the end of whatever aesthetic you were trying to put forward to people on social media. So it's not just me and Charles broke up and I won't never talk to Charles again and I won't never see Charles again. If it was just that, and I'm about to be brutally honest, if it was just that, I really do not think for grown women that it would take us more than, oh, I thought I was supposed to turn there, that it would take us more than 10 days to get over that. No, it's down here. I don't think as grown women it would take us more than 10 days to get over the fact that we broke up with Charles and we ain't gonna never see Charles again and we ain't gonna never talk to Charles again. I don't think it would take you more than 10 days, especially if you're breaking up with Charles because Charles is an asshole. If you realize that Charles is an asshole and therefore you break up with Charles, I don't believe I'm being honest, guys, and I'm not talking. Let me finish. Let me finish the cycle. Let me cook on this. I really believe you break up with Charles and Charles is an asshole. 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 days is the longest that it would take you to get over that person. And I really do honestly believe that. I'm not exaggerating. I'm really sharing my thoughts on this particular matter. 10 days, 14 at the most. Because you've been in the cycle of seeing this person's assholery. Oh, wrong spot. You've been in the cycle of having to put up with their assholery. You've been in the cycle of dealing with whatever their assholery, whatever negativity and badness and irritations that their assholery has brought into your life. You've been in that cycle. And so you must admit that when you break up with someone, there is that original. Shoot. I think I was paused, but I'm going to have to move forward. You must admit that when you break up with someone, the original feeling is of relief, right? You have a feeling of relief. When you originally break up with someone, you are so happy to be done with the bullshit, right? Yeah, you stop going to the gym as much. Thank you for that, Patricia. That's true. So you must admit you have a feeling of being so happy to be done with the bullshit. I'm so happy to be finished with this. I'm so happy I don't have to clean up behind them no more. I'm so happy I don't have to remind them about meetings that they should have had a reminder for in their phone. Like okay, I'm glad that y'all heard everything. Right? There's a moment of relief. To me, and I'm basing this on my own personal experience and the personal experience of the women that I have counseled and the women in my close circle. All that extra feeling along the breakup are the feelings that come because you have pedestalized this experience. Because you have made romantic love or your romantic relationship the head of your life. Remember when our mamas used to stand up in church and say, first giving honor to God, who is the head of my life, right? We have made our romantic relationships the head of our life. And so when it's time to break up, when you realize, oh, this is not working, or this person is an asshole, or this person is abusive, or this person is crazy as fuck, or this person's finances are fucked up and now they trying to fuck up my finances, or this person's the way they live in their home is something I can't deal with. It's not the same way I was raised. It's nasty and filthy to me. Whatever reason you decide that you have to end the relationship, instead of it just being, Charles didn't work out. Me and Charles didn't work out. It is, oh no, that fantasy I had in my mind of living happily ever after. Now I got to let that fantasy go. Oh no. I was going to take Christmas pictures with him and put them on the gram in the matching pajamas. Oh no. I wanted him to go on this trip that I'm taking down to Tulum for the so-and-so, and I wanted us to be able to be seen together in Tulum. Whatever other pedestals you had put that thing on, that's what takes longer than 14 days. And 14 days, of course, this is just an approximation. Y'all know what I mean. It don't take months and years to get over a raggedy motherfucker. Hell, it don't take months and years to get over a non-raggedy motherfucker. If we are honest with ourselves, we put ourselves into this very dangerous and unhealthy mental and emotional loop when we pedestalize romantic relationships with masculine people, right? Once we have pedestalized that, it's eking over into every aspect of our life, and we're not keeping it in its place. This is just my romantic relationship. This is not what defines me. This is not what creates my aesthetic. This is not what makes me worthy. This is not what makes me whole. I am the head of my life. A romantic relationship is not the head of my life. So when we think about, and I was watching, man, I wish I could remember her name. She's a relationship coach. It's an older Italian white lady. Damn, I cannot remember her name. I want to say her page is something like Finding Love Over 50 or something like that. But she's an older woman. And she was the person who put this thought process in my mind. And she was talking about she had gotten into a relationship. She really thought that person was the one. He wound up being an asshole. She realized he was an asshole. She stopped talking to him. She blocked him on everything. And she said she took the time to process it. And then she moved on to the next person. And not the next person, but the person after that next person wound up being the man that she's married to now. Wonderful man, handsome man, caring man, generous man. Right? The kind of man that she wanted. But she said she was able to be open to those next relationships because she did not sit long in the process of getting over breaking up with that other person. I think another thing that makes us sit in that process too long is that we then use that process to judge ourselves. Instead of just saying Charles was an asshole or Charles wasn't the nigga for me, we say, oh, maybe I should have cooked some chicken. Oh, maybe I should have rubbed his hoggy feet. Oh, maybe I should have cleaned up after him. Oh, maybe I should have bought his mother a better Christmas gift. Instead of just saying, this wasn't it. Let me move on. Let me go on and find it. We start picking ourselves apart. Instead of just saying, that's not the one for me, we got to figure out what we could have done differently. Exactly. He was only ever great in your mind. And that's fine. Didn't nobody think he was great but you and his mama. Right? And that's fine. But yeah, like, get over it. Stop sitting in it. It doesn't define you. And then I'm going to say something that's hard for all of us to hear. Because I know the type of women that follow me. I know the type of women that be in my lives. I'm going to say something that's hard for us to hear, y'all. I'm going to lean in because it's difficult. I'm holding your hands as I'm saying this. We're not everybody's type. I know it hurts our feelings. I know we can barely bear to hear it. But holding your hands, holding your little handsies. We not everybody's type. Now, not being everybody's type don't mean you're not a bad bitch. Not being everybody's type don't mean you're not gorgeous. Not being everybody's type don't mean you not sexy and you don't have a sexy body and you don't this and it don't mean that. It just means that this dude that you happen to be talking to, he's not a match for you. And that's fine. Stop thinking that you got to be a match for everybody. Only cheap shit is a match for everybody. Expensive shit is exclusive. It's only a match for certain people. If you have to ask, you can't afford it because it's only a match for certain people. So we also sit there and do that. We ruminate over why didn't he like me enough to do the so and so for me? You ain't the one. You ain't the one for him. Somebody else is the one for him, and that's fine. You don't have to be the one for everybody. Right? I know that's hard for bad bitches to hear. Because Hollywood makes it seem like if you a bad bitch, you everybody's type. That shit is not true. That shit is not true. So this was just a little quick pop in. I'm actually done. This is quick for me. This was only 15 minutes. Do not make romantic relationships the head of your life. For so many of us, we sit so long in that sadness and in that regret and in that depression of breaking up that it stunts every other area of our life. It keeps every other part of us from growing because we're sitting in that depression for so long. We're acting like and we're treating that like a much bigger deal than it actually is. Do not make romantic relationships the head of your life. All right? All right. Ecstasy, abundance, and bliss to all of those within the sound of my voice who are wishing the same for me and mine. And as always, the lessons of life and the end of a pearl handle 22. Ibarra room. To those who are wishing us otherwise. And that's on my mama. Peace, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.